In this video, I'm going to share the secret weapon behind my success. It's over 20 pages long, and I'm giving it to you for free. Have you ever looked at a successful person and wondered why they're successful? I don't know about you, but the first thing I do is I always buy that person's books. I read them for pleasure, and then I comb through the product pages to see if there's anything I can learn from it. I listen to podcast interviews, and I read news articles about that person. But what I found 99% of the time is that most successful authors have the basics in common. Sure, they wrote a good story, and sure, they know how to do basic marketing for their books. However, it's what you can't see that ultimately makes them successful. It's what they know. I've devoted my life to becoming a professional writer, so I promised myself very early on that I would learn everything I needed to learn to be successful. I have an encyclopedic type personality, so I'm drawn to these sorts of things, and I've basically made it my job to know everything. And when you put our industry in perspective, the critical component that's often missing is the continuing education. Every other industry professional invests in their education. In my insurance career, I take a ridiculous amount of training every year in order to stay on top of the profession. So do doctors, attorneys, and virtually every other profession out there. There's no such requirement when you're working for yourself, though tons of teachers and entrepreneurs do seminars and courses online geared to help you learn. Shouldn't writers be committed to staying on top of their profession? Yes. So I wanted to make sure that I did. Because I'm an INTJ type, I sat down and made a list of everything I thought a successful writer needed to know. I broke each bullet point into easy, bite-sized pieces to make them easier for me to learn. Every day I went out and learned something new, and I didn't stop until I felt confident enough to cross it off my list. Some topics were simple, and I only needed a basic understanding of them. Others, like genre, were so complex and nuanced that I found myself coming back to them again and again. But the key was that I invested in my continuing education. Want to know what surprised me? What really surprised me was how much I already knew, but how little I knew about what I knew, if that makes sense. For example, of course I knew about book covers, right? But I didn't know the nuanced type stuff like typography and how to brand in different genres. I didn't know what made a best-selling book cover stand out from the rest. That takes a very long time to learn, especially when you're working with different designers every time. But my initial knowledge was surface level at best. My learning plan helped me go deeper. That should be your goal too. Anytime you find yourself thinking, I already know about that, I don't need to know anymore, you're probably mistaken. There's always room for something new. If you don't take the time to learn, you won't grow. After just a few weeks of using my learning plan, my knowledge took off. 3 years later, I had the knowledge base and the skills to make videos for this channel every week. So my challenge to you is to sit down and think about your development as an author. You will always have to learn new things because the industry is always changing. I'm giving away my learning plan. This is the exact same plan that I created in 2014. I printed it up and added some things to it, but it's a roadmap that will help you develop the skills and confidence you need to be a successful author. Many of the skills in the book are not what you think either. It's a 20-page long list that hopefully will change your perspective on what it means to be a professional author and what it is that you have to learn. You can grab your copy via the link in the video description or the YouTube card above my head depending on where you're watching this. If you're already on my Author Level Up mailing list, you should have received your copy already, so be sure to check your inbox. That's it for this video. If this is your first time watching, I'd love to have you subscribe. And if this video helped you in some way, do me a favor and click that like button. Thanks for watching.